Welcome to a Thirsty Thursday edition of a Love Island US review. It's your girl, TheNatshell, dropping another fire review today, and I'm going to be talking about the dramatic recoupling that we have been teased relentlessly about, and it's finally here. And let me tell y'all, it was everything you expected it to be and more. Whew! I wish you guys were with me as I was watching it. So many emotions. It was like an hour and I think 28-minute long episode, and I was just like, how am I going to get through this? But there was just so much material, y'all, and I'm going to try and break it down to under 20 minutes. Lord help me. Anywho, so as everyone was expecting, Sally was waiting for Johnny, Justine was waiting for Caleb, and Kirsten was waiting for Carrington. Why? Only the heavens know why. She's into him, yes, we have established that. But like, really though? Really? This guy, in my opinion, I think was into Kirsten, but could not get over his insecurity that she was very hot, and on the outside world she would be getting guys sliding in her DMs. I don't think he could handle that amount of attention she would be getting, and that's why I think it can't work with Kirsten. I don't think it's anything to do with her, the type of lifestyle that she has, because Lauren looked like a girl who would get as much interest as Kirsten, but then there was something that was safe about her, in my opinion. And what I think the safety net that he had was the fact that she was an older woman and could kind of like teach him how to be a better version of himself. I don't think Carrington has the ability to do that on his own, and he's looking for a chick who can help do that for him. And I actually think Kirsten is capable of that. I just think he didn't take the time to read her or know her, and Kirsten actually didn't come out of her consideration or her feelings for how she truly feels about him and how she really is in real life, because she was scared that it would chase him off. So basically, Carrington decided that the stereotype he had in his mind about Kirsten was who she really was. His loss, not anybody else's. So am I mad at the girl for still chilling for him? No, I'm not mad, because this is the exact outcome that she needed to get a wake-up call, and I think she needs to let that ship sail. So thank you. You played yourself, but you did yourself a favor. So we have Mackenzie. I had no idea who she was going to pick, honestly, but I knew Jalen was a breath of fresh air for her. And like I said, I'm here for it. Moira, I also didn't know what direction she would go. It was 50-50, but Aaron was also like a breath of fresh air in the villa. I think all the guys in there, as the girls have mentioned, were really great. In my opinion, I actually think everyone should have just picked a guy from the villa, and the guys should have picked girls from Casa more, just on friendship levels, and just give them that opportunity to hopefully commingle with other people so that they can have better chances than them just being there if they're duds, or they have dead chats with their coupled partners. So over at Casa Amor, yes, you have Johnny, who last minute decided Sally was for him. You have Caleb, who knew very earlier on that Justine would be the one for him, even though he entertained Cher. We have Calvin, who first was with Faith, but then gravitated towards Cher. And we have Carrington, of course, Borsnor, who was caught up in the candy store that was Mercedes and Laurel. And then finally, we have Carrington, who staked his claim for Mackenzie. And yeah, that's just a disaster that's waiting to happen. in my opinion. So the teaser was explosive, and trust and believe, y'all, that the actual event was just as dramatic. So the people who actually picked each other were Celine Choni, Justine, and Caleb. Kirsten, of course, she was standing alone. And then Carrington is just a savage. He came down the stairs by himself at first, and Kirsten was like, what? He did it for me? And then he motioned for someone to come down the stairs. And lo and behold, there was Laurel. I was actually surprised that he picked Laurel over Mercedes. And I was just like, wow, the savagery. Then on top of that, like the reason he gave, he was just like, yeah, I think Laurel has everything that I need, and I feel so good around her. Question, didn't he say that about Caitlyn and Kirsten too? So we're hearing nothing new here. And then he was just like, yeah, I would be a fool to let this go, and I'm sorry you didn't find the guy here for you, but I'm going to be here for you as a friend if you need that. And I'm just like, boy, bye. Like, don't nobody need that at that time. I think there was nothing wrong with what he said. It's just that given the circumstances, the timing to say those words in the order that they were said was so hurtful. But let's move on. If you expected more from him, I'm sorry. You have been watching the wrong YouTube videos. You should have come here for real talk, okay? We keep it 100 here. Minus the hate. And then, then we have Mackenzie. Oh my gosh. Before we come to Mackenzie, there was Moira. So Moira picked Aaron. I was glad for that pick. And then Calvin came down with Cher, and I was glad for that matching. We have... who else? Mackenzie. Mackenzie was just like, her speech was also crazy. It was also shocking, but it was so true, and I felt it. So she ends up picking Jalen, and then heartbreak upon heartbreak. Connor comes down alone. Wait, he wasn't alone. He had Gus, and I'm like, oh no! Though it makes no sense to me as to why a grown-ass man would have a teddy bear. But I understand. It's cute. Connor is a gent. And as much as I said he is a problem, which I fully stand by because I have articulated where I think he's problematic, I think he's an absolute gent. I love him. And I'm glad that they broke up. It's gonna hurt, baby, but then you needed it, and you're gonna grow, and you're gonna come out better and stronger for it. Everyone was devastated. The boys, when they were hearing Mackenzie's speech, man, you could see like they were just like, no. They weren't expecting it. And then when Connor came down, you could tell they were feeling for the boys. So more than the romantic relationships, I can say I love like the boy friendships and the girl friendships in that house. So afterwards, they break apart. They say goodbye to the boys in the villa, and then they're kind of reuniting and talking amongst themselves, like girls with girls, boys with boys, and they're talking about like the sequence of events. They're obviously like, I love the fact that Calvin like was straight up to Carrington and told him he was a savage for the speech that he gave. I love the fact that Caleb and Justin's reunion, first of all, I should say that was uber sweet. Like, we know she was very emotional about the recoupling, and she wanted to be his first pick. She really wanted him to come alone, and she felt like it would validate how he really feels about her, and also put her on a pedestal and make her feel that, yeah, she's actually valued and wanted. She's not a second pick. So I love that. I also liked Sally's and Johnny's reunion. I loved the raw emotion, and you could see Ariel Vandenberg, hey girl, hey, was very emotional. It was a very heartfelt speech on Sally's part. On Johnny's, I could feel like the sincerity there, but then knowing what he had done, it was hard for me to buy it entirely. Not because I think he's insincere, but then just knowing what I know, I feel like knowing that somebody was like 95% doesn't give me all the feels that I need to feel. So they break apart, and then he's talking about before they break apart, he's like, I need to talk to you about something. And I'm like, way to dampen a reunion. But anyways, he ends up talking to the boys and telling them how he feels like he needs to have a chat with her. And they're like, yeah, boy, go do the thing. And so he did. And he had a chat with her that ended up, he confessed to everything. And this just broke her heart. She was confused. She confided in Justine. And Justine was like, you know, you shouldn't feel like a fool. If anyone should, it's Johnny. And you need to tell him how you feel. And if you guys are to survive in the outside world, that's the only way that it's going to happen, so that you can trust him and it doesn't happen again. I was like, I'm here for that advice. What else happened? Mackenzie, of course, she was heartbroken by having to hurt Connor, and was like, yeah, we need to have a conversation after this. Kirsten and Carrington didn't have a conversation. But then the boys actually suggested to Connor that maybe he should give Kirsten a chance. I'm like, do I feel it? No, I just think it's gonna be like a friendship, a friend zone situation. So the next morning rolls in. Actually, before the next morning rolls in, I know I'm skipping like bits and pieces of information, but bear with me, y'all. They're not in sequence. But then I'm trying to gather them as much as I can. So the girls are talking about the events that happened. Everyone is just shocked about Kirsten and Carrington's approach. They co-sign on the savagery. Co-sign that it was savagery. Let me be clear. Everyone is kind of like Team Mackenzie, supporting her decision and kind of encouraging her not to feel bad about it, because the boys had been encouraging Connor to break up with Mackenzie. Of course, Caleb was not happy. None of the boys were happy about it. Some of them even teared up when he came down alone and saw what had happened. I'm talking about you, Caleb. Speaking of Caleb, he was just like, I don't trust her. I think she's just a manipulative liar, and you don't owe her anything. Harsh words. So we of course know all the boys think she's a hypocrite and they're going to give her a tough time. We can all see that. So the next morning comes in, and Kirsten, of course, she's heartbroken about her decision, but I think she's accepting it. She talks to a couple of people. I know she talked to Carrington. Not Carrington, sorry. Yeah, she talked to Carrington. And like you could still see, even though she was hurt, even though she accepted where things were, she still has feelings for him, and she's kind of like semi-hopeful. And Carrington was like, oh, you know, I'm still here for you. I'm sorry we didn't have this conversation earlier. And basically it was like, for right now, Laurel is who I want to explore things with. And I'm like, boy, what do you mean for right now? Like, are you entertaining the idea of possibly going back with Kirsten? And even if that's not your intent, like, why are you giving her hope when you know that you're not going to pursue that action? So I think right now with Kirsten, he's a waste man. He just needs to like shoot the deer in the face. Like, just be blunt. Just be like, I'm sorry, this is what happened. I had no idea that you still carried a torch and still wanted to pursue things with me actively. And I really, really want to be here for you as a friend. I don't want to lose our friendship. But like, I just strongly feel that Laurel is the girl for me. And I'm sorry that this hurts. And I really want to go on this journey to find love, and oh, and I hope the same for you. Something along those lines, you know? But he was just like, yeah, obviously you're hot. And I'm like, get out of here. Like, how is that supposed to boost her? Like, and this is why I say he's a shallow dude. You're hot. Who wants to hear that? Like, yes, you're hot, but like context, bro. Context. So, that was a dead chat. She goes, cries to Jalen, who is the villa therapist. And all these girls need therapists. So it comes out like everyone has been super emotional, super upset. People have been crying. So Sally, after she had that conversation with Johnny, she was crying. She goes through the makeup room, tries to get her face done. And then lo and behold, Moira walks in and she can see obviously that Sally is in a state, but instead of like consoling her, she's crying. And then she's like, oh my gosh, just seeing you and Johnny and your reunion makes me realize that there's nothing here for me. I don't have it with Aaron. And then she starts crying and I'm like, wow, I don't know how to help you. I was happy for you before. Now, like, you're bringing me back to the... Just like, I can't with this girl, man. I'm really trying to root for her, but she makes it really hard. And I said the last time, I don't think Love Island is the show for her. I think she should have been on something like The Bachelorette, or she should have just stayed home. Because it's like she's just not applying herself in the process and she's getting in the way of her own happiness. You don't have to fall in love right away. You can cultivate a friendship and learn love lessons along the way. But then it's like she's waiting for something to whisk her away without her putting any effort in. And I think she has deeper issues. I think she just needs to go on a soul search and ask herself what she wants. Ask herself how she can improve herself. And just get out of whatever headspace she's in. I don't think a man can come and solve her problems. I don't think falling in love is the way to go for her. I think she has to first love herself and think she's worthy of love, because you can want love and not think you're worthy of it. And I think that's what is going on with Moira, because there are tons of guys who are attracted to her. Fine, she might not feel that initial connection, but I think that the connection that she needs the most is not with another person, but with herself. So Moira, I think you need to go home. It's time. And for you to go home and find yourself, instead of like putting the mood down. And at first she was just like, oh, I thought like, you know, Calvin and I would have like an opportunity and I could like sort things out with him. I was kind of hurt that he came with someone. I'm like, my G, what are you giving the boy? Nothing. You're giving him nothing. You're giving all these boys nothing but expecting the most from them. Makes no sense to me. So she had a conversation with Calvin the next day where she was talking about how hurt she was that he didn't pull her aside, and she would have wanted to have an opportunity to chat with him and probably progress in their relationship. And so Calvin went back and had a chat with Cher afterwards about how his conversation with Moira was. And Cher was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say whatever it is. And I think instead of moping around and like bringing the whole energy of the villa down, she just needs to be happy for other people and be happy for yourself. And I'm like, took the words right out of my mouth. I love Cher. Cher and Justine had a conversation at the jacuzzi or something where Justine, and I love Justine's energy. She was so happy that Cher was in the house and that she'd found someone, and she was happy. And then she just kind of wanted to touch base and find out where Cher, what her connection with Caleb was, because Caleb had told Justine that that was the only person like he was physically attracted to and had entertained for a while. And so Cher was just like, I'm open to getting to know him better, whether as a friend or beyond a friend. And in the confessional, she's just like, she doesn't care if people are in a relationship. She's going to get to know whoever she wants to know, and not in a catty way, should I add. And she's open to seeing where things go. And then Justine goes back and reports this to Caleb. And then Caleb, who had earlier told her about what went down in the Casa Amor, was like, as much as I entertained her, I came back for you, just you. And then he was like, yeah, the king and queen are back together and they're coming to take over the house together. So obviously he's into Justine, but I didn't know the level. But I found out soon enough when he was like reassuring her after her conversation with Cher. And he was just like, this is like a ghost type situation in the real world. No number who this. Because he's like, I'm so confused by what you're reporting to me, because I'm sure I was clear that I was coming back for you and only you. And I was like, damn, what love they make him at. Because that's a Justine quote. And I'm like, I like this. Okay, more drama. Mackenzie and Connor have a chat about how things went. I love their reconciliation. I think it was very mature on both their ends. I think it was extremely honest. And like I said, I love them individually as people. I think they're amazing. And you can corroborate that by you guys going to check out my previous reviews that I did. I just don't like them as a couple. I think their emotions are so high that they get misguided in their approach to situations. And it seems like they're incompatible because of that. Together, they need to work on the weaknesses they bring out in each other. And it's not bad for your partner to make you weak in certain areas. For example, if you feel like you're stronger by having a wall up and having your cards down and letting people in makes you weak, then someone who makes you vulnerable, aka someone who makes you feel weak like that, is good for you. So for clarity, that's just the example that I'm giving. If you're a person who doesn't believe in forgiving, or forgiveness is for the weak, or a person who believes in aggression and doesn't have levels of patience and thinks being patient or gentle is weak, someone who makes you patient and gentle is good for you. So that's what I mean. And I hope we're on the same level of understanding. So that's what I mean. But I think in this case that the weaknesses they brought out in each other needed to be addressed and pushed in the direction where it would lead to positive outflow, and it didn't do that. So that's what I think of them. If they're to survive, that's the only way they'll have to approach their relationship. Otherwise, it's going to continue to be toxic. But I don't really think it was toxic. I just think they don't understand each other. Okay, so Jalen, obviously he's been the villa therapist. And Mackenzie just feels like she's being neglected, like he's not giving her time and attention. And she's beginning to get annoyed. And old Mackenzie is coming out again. We can see it's becoming a problem. I am such a Mackenzie. When I love someone, or like someone, I am absolutely like possessive. Like I feel passionately for people and I want them to feel the same way about me, and I don't think that that's wrong, right? But then how I handle situations is different. I become closed off and definitely can give people death stares, and so can Mackenzie. So I completely understand her and I feel that vibe. But the difference is, like, for me, I repress my emotions, so I just like shut down and invest myself in different hobbies. Like I'll start working out like crazy. I'll start studying like crazy. I'll throw myself into work. I don't stew in my emotions, because if I do, I'll lose it. I will lose it. So you can see she's beginning to like slowly coming undone. She's slowly unraveling. And then she addresses it to Jalen. And I'm like, I love that. It's so mature, because I would not address it. But the problem is that she asks him a question. Do you think you prioritize other people more than you prioritize yourself? And I was like, nope. And then she's like, are you sure? And that "are you sure" wasn't like out of concern for your health. It was like out of, are you sure you're giving the right answer? Because I'm right and you're wrong. And you could already see the red flags in his eyes. Like, damn, this chick is loca. And I can smell trouble in paradise for these two. He's like, I like the pace we're at. I like the fact that I'm open to exploring other people. And we're taking things slow. So what's the problem? And they have that conversation in bed. And Mackenzie just like, I don't understand why you're coming at me like this. I don't like, she's super defensive. Agreed to be wrong and that nobody is going to see things the way you see them. Express yourself, but also acknowledge that someone else's feelings regarding the situation are valid and different from you, because they're having a totally different experience from you. And I'm just like, Mackenzie, just need to chill. Take it like a champ. Chill. Everyone else in bed, Johnny's trying to make it up to Sally, because like he's so hurt that he hurt her. He's distraught, and I don't feel bad. Sally's just like, I just need time, I need space. I like Sally, because like when Johnny was telling her what was going on, and Johnny, like I said, was trying to do the 2-step, and he was just like, oh yeah, no, she can, like she laid it on me. I could tell she wanted to kiss me. And Sally was like, don't lay it all on her. Like, you kissed. Like, the fact that you kissed means that you're responsible for actions that took place. So I like that she whipped him into shape, because I knew he would do that. And I'm glad that she caught him. She did not give him any like slack. And then, like you can see, she's trying to live her best life. Still confused about how she doesn't know how to process whatever she's feeling. And she's just taking her time. So she's hanging out with different people. And then Johnny comes up to her. And he's like, I need you right now. And then he's talking. And then he's like, I really need to spend time with you. I need to be around you, because I know you need your time and space. But like, I'm going crazy. Not knowing how you think, not knowing how you feel, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like kind of rushing her. He's like, I know you said you need your time and space, but I don't think I can take it anymore. It's driving me crazy. And I'm like, boy, you need to give her time and space. It's not about you, okay? Let the girl be. Then it's like, if I knew it had the effect that it did on her, I wouldn't have done whatever I did. And I'm like, boy, you told her you were all in. Like, get out of here with those excuses. But what I love is that he owned up to it, that he apologized for it, and that he's broken about it, and he wants to do better. So that's what counts. Will his actions come to bite him in the butt? I think they will, because people will begin to see him, and by people I say viewers, will begin to see him differently than Sally does. I already know Carrington thinks differently of him, because you could see like from his facial expressions how he truly feels. What else? I hope I'm not missing anything else. This has been uber long, and my mind is just like spinning and spinning and spinning. I eventually, at the end of the episode, they made up, they kissed, and I think they resolved their things. So this marks the end of this review / commentary. What were your favorite moments from the recoupling? What were the most devastating moments in the recoupling for y'all? Do you think Laurel and Carrington are a good match and they're going to last? Also, do you think a new person is going to come into the villa for Kirsten, and will it be too late for her to find love? Do you think Moira should leave? Do you think she needs to give love a chance and that she might possibly find it with Aaron? Do you think she scared Aaron off and he might have his sights on someone else, aka Kirsten, because he said she was his usual type? So let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Let's hope that it's gonna be crazy fun and exciting like the past Casa Amor episodes and the recoupling was. Until the next one, peace y'all. Stay safe.